You can't sell that. You can't put that in the showroom and like set up like that and just be like, huh? You thought you were gonna get a camper? Nope. Aztek. Like, look, it looks suspicious as fuck. It looks like, look at this. Hello, my name is Abbas Wahab, stand-up comedian here in Toronto, longtime car fan, gearhead. Actually studied engineering in school, and my first couple of years in industry were working for an automotive supplier in the Detroit automotive area. We used to make plastic fuel tanks for Wranglers and whatnot, but I haven't done any engineering in years. I've pretty much shifted fully to comedy and content creation and podcasting. Check out the immigrant section. What I've decided to make is a show called Why Did They Make This Car? You know, because there's so many cars you see on the street that we're like, who's buying that car? You know, like, why did they make that car? Essentially, it's going to be half roast, half kind of review, research. It'll be a short show is the gist of it. But if you're going to do a show like this, there's really no place to start besides the Pontiac Aztek. And if you know, you know. If you don't know the Pontiac Aztek, it is pretty much what like if you watch Breaking Bad, Walter White in that first season, actually in the first like 3 seasons, he was driving this car. And if you think about it, that's pretty much like an indication as to where this car is at. This car was supposed to represent his life for like people who know cars. They're like, damn, he's driving an Aztek. They even before the lung cancer, like people are like, oh, he's something bad's about to happen, or he's not in a good place in his life if he's driving an Aztek. It looks like the car version of like when two animals that shouldn't be fucking fuck and like something comes out that's like, kill me, you know what I mean? That's the Aztek. Literally, if the Aztek could speak, it would say, kill me, please disassemble me, I was not meant to be. 10 reasons not to buy a every link in the Google, the first page is just like, there's like a weird cult following with it, or it's just pure hate. Look at this one. Why the Pontiac Aztek was the biggest failure in automotive history. It's been 10 years since its far too late demise in 2005. We safely say that the Pontiac created its biggest failure, besides Pontiac itself, obviously. Pontiac was intended to produce a radical vehicle that would revitalize the brand. Wow, to think Pontiac was trying to create they were hoping, banking on this new design to just be the thing that would jumpstart Pontiac back up. How ironic is that? Like, it was the final nail in the coffin, and it was supposed to be like an elixir of life for them. Part of the idea behind Aztek was to bridge the gap between the edgy car that young buyers wanted and the practical minivan that slightly older buyers needed. So it wasn't a minivan. It didn't look good, and it wasn't as convenient as a minivan, so they failed on all fronts. Instead, it became an ugly duckling minivan for 20-something that absolutely nobody wanted until Walter White somehow managed to make one cool building a meth empire. Still, nobody wanted it. Nobody watched Breaking Bad and going, I want that car Walter White has, you know? He got the challenge. No. Junior got the Challenger, but he got like a Chrysler 300, you know? 300S too, man. He was dumped. You had the Hemi V8 in there. Boy was pulling. Looking at the sales of this car, it's so funny. It pretty much ran for 5 years, like in production, and reading into it, it says that GM tried in the first 6 months to redesign it, and that didn't help. Like, it pretty much was dead. Like, they built it, they did a run of it for a couple of years, and then were just exhausting all inventory on this car. Like, look at this thing. They thought, we'll give it the cut hatchback, and it'll be so like unique on the streets. It'll have to sell well, you know? Like, look at this. Let's look at that for a second. The idea is that like you can't sell that. You can't put that in the showroom and like set up like that and just be like, you thought you were gonna get a camper? Nope. Aztek. Like, look, it looks suspicious as fuck. It looks like, look at this. Look at this. It looks like a hearse. It looks like a makeshift hearse. Like everybody, like you're gonna just fucking something like lung cancer is coming to you one way or another with this car, and you just sit in the back and go out like a champ, like Walter White. What a disgusting vehicle right there. Look at this guy with his sandals and his laptop. So, okay, so you would enter from the back seat, I guess, And then what? Like, I guess it would house a twin bed. That's his wife leaving him right there. I can't do this Aztek thing anymore. I'm out. Look at the interior. To think at some point this was standard. I mean, Pontiac is a relic of the past at this point, right? If you Pontiac, Saturn, all these, they're gone, done. GM had to GM had to shed some pounds and they were first to go. But man, those early 2000s and late 90s GM interiors were rough. Like, this isn't even only for the Aztek, but look at this. Like, GM loves bubble buttons, Just they die for bubble buttons. Look at these. Like, each one comes up like a fucking cyst or like a hernia or some shit. I've never had a hernia, so I don't actually know if that's even what hernias look like. But a cyst for sure I've had. And yeah, that's very cyst-like. This is the type of car that, like, if a girl got it for a sweet 16, she would start crying. Like, even if she wasn't spoiled, like, even if she was like she comes from like an immigrant family and like she values anything given to her, she would still burst out crying if given the Aztek. You know what's crazy about the Aztek is that it almost seems like the Lamborghini Urus was built off of the Aztek body. Like, look at, you can't tell me these don't look similar. Come on. You can't tell me there's no resemblance. Like, what? These last 2 years, 2007 has sold 25 units. 25. Not times 1,000, not times 100, just 25. Think of that. 25? I mean, average classrooms have more than 25 students. Like, 25 vehicles sold in the year of 2007. I feel like the only people who got this car by the end were the people who worked on the assembly line itself. They had like a pride in assembling it, right? They're like, I'll take it. I put in a lot of work on this thing, And just like weirdos, sandal and sock type people that got this car. Why did they make this car? Who knows? Apparently they're trying to reach young people and old people, and they failed at both. So there you have it. So if you out there are watching and you have a Pontiac Aztek, it's nothing personal, I'm just saying, you got a piece of shit. You probably got it because you got a steal on it, Nobody wants it on their lot. A car that should not have been, but was. You know what I mean? Comment below what car I should do next. I've got a bunch on the list, but I'd love to hear what car you guys think should not have ever been made, and it pisses you off every time you even see it. I'd love to look some random Google shit up on it, talk shit about it, and just make fun of cars. I love it, okay? I'm Abbas Wahab. You guys have been great. Again, comment below. I'd love to hear your feedback. And until next time, see ya.